Okay. All right. Welcome everyone to the awesome intuitive workshop with intuitive goal setting workshop with Lisa Bell. And for those of you who do not know Lisa, she's an author, actual published author, speaker, and intuitive consultant and advisor with a background in business relations, integrated therapy, and hypnotherapy, with a deep passion for helping entrepreneurs. Professionally, Lisa consults with government agencies, law enforcement, CEOs, professionals, and large companies to help them tap into their gut feeling and make the right decisions for them at lightning speed, sometimes when lives are at stake. So she actively volunteers for a well-recognized global agency of law enforcement that has solved criminal cases since 2002, ranking solely on intuition, and homicides and human trafficking cases around the world. Now she reveals these same intuitive systems and methodologies that she has developed and perfected for more than 2 decades to entrepreneurs all over the world, worldwide, as the founder and lead trainer in the Right Mind for Success Academy, which you will learn more about at the end of this webinar. So she's been a great friend of mine and a coach, a consultant for myself for many years. She's helped me break through a lot of challenges in my business and helped me create the right decisions for myself and tap into my genius to, create the success that I have now. So I owe a lot of my success to her, and I'm really excited for you guys. I know she can help you with your vision and your goals. Today on this webinar, she's going to specifically talk about how you can tap into your intuition to create the right decisions for yourself and create the right goals for yourself, so you're not, running into circles or doing the wrong things that will, make you, not successful or make you not happy. So part of that is learning what is your purpose, what is your passion, what does that even mean, and how to tap into that, and how to make the right decisions for yourself in your business. Okay. So in a nutshell, that's basically what it is. She's going to be here if you have any questions. As you guys know, you can ask at any time. Just put it in the chat box, and she will answer them one by one. And it's a great opportunity for you to get personalized training. Any questions at all you have, okay? So I guess with that said, we will get over to you, Lisa. Thank you again for being here, and I'm really excited for this.
It's my pleasure, and I am sorry of all the people and of all the times for me to be a bit late. Weather. It's a good time to move. I think I know why my dad always went to a warmer place during the winter. Okay, so at any time, as Omar said, if you have any specific questions, it's really good if you spontaneously ask them. I know a lot of these workshops, seminars, they'll ask you to wait, but I really count on my intuition. So when you have a question and it comes up, ask it right away, because there's a reason why it comes up at that particular time. So that's really important to me. Now, the other thing is that I know that we talked about goals, and we talked about some purpose and the academy in the write-up there that Omar just read. And the reason why purpose is so important is because you will not completely understand what your... Oops, did I just lose you?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Well, the power was just flickering again. I'm like, oh no, not again. Okay, just give me 1 second here, guys. I'm so sorry. All right, I'm going to put on the backup there. All right, if it flickers, I'm still here. I have backup power. Okay, so with your purpose, a lot of people believe that there is just one thing that you are meant to do. And you strive for most of your life trying to fulfill that, or you search throughout your whole life to find out what that is. And you dabble here and you dabble there, and you don't feel fulfilled, or you think you should be doing something better or different. And one of the things that I have learned in my experience now, in order to share this with you, I have to give you a little bit more about my background. One of the ways that I've been able to do my work intuitively and to assimilate in the real world, because being a professional intuitive or psychic for agents and law enforcement has just become a fashion. But before all that, I worked with government as an employment service and business counselor. And I used to be responsible for assessing people's skills, finding out what they were really good at, and help them set up businesses. And one of the things that I noticed is that people were living a lie. They were living the dreams of other people, what their parents thought they should do, or what the latest trend thought they should do, or what, in today's world, what the hottest internet market thing. It's really interesting because when you are setting goals, if you do not have an idea of what your true purpose is, then you are not going to create goals that resonate with you, and you are going to feel all over the place, and you're going to struggle with listening to your intuition. Now, your true purpose, you can do all kinds of things in your life. You are not meant to do just one thing. There's a theme. There's a big difference. There's all kinds of things in life that you can do. So you're not meant to be just a doctor. You're not meant just to be an internet marketer or a counselor. You can be a doctor for 10 years, and then later on your role could be teaching doctors for another 5 years, or writing a book, or going into holistic medicine, or deciding to do art therapy. But there's a theme with that. The same thing with marketing. You might start off with commission sales, and then you hear about internet marketing, and then you hear about membership sites, and you hear about being able to draw in money and have a lifestyle business, possibly by publishing on Kindle. So there's a theme there, and that theme is possibly sales, or we can dig a little deeper, and it's more about the thrill of the sale, or the thrill of the lifestyle that it brings. The more you give, the more that you can bring back into your life. And one thing that's very important for you to understand is that whatever it is that you do right now, I don't care what it is, whether it's writing copy or designing a website, you are to do it purposely. That is your truest purpose in life. Now, I know that a lot of times people are waiting for me to say something really profound about purpose, but that is it. You can draw on so much of what you think you should be doing that you paralyze yourself, that you actually don't go forward. You continuously take one step and then 2 steps back because you're uncertain. And the reason why you're uncertain is because you have decided to live your life based on the rules, based on the knowledge, based on the interpretation of other people and what they think that you should do. So one of the things that I would like you to do right now is to see, I don't know how old you are. I don't know anything about your businesses. I have no idea how you know Omar, but look at the fact that there may be a theme, and perhaps let Omar know what that theme is if it comes to mind. Okay, this is going to tie into the next step, which is going to be how this helps you to develop an intuitive insight and to make those goals that we're going to talk about for 2018. So Omar, I'm going to put you on the spot. What are some of the themes that are in your career, in your life?
Some of the themes that are in my life: innovation, communication.
And those are good ones.
Yeah, I think that's what comes to mind right now. I can't think of the other ones right now.
Okay, but do you see the
Technology.
difference?
Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
But you see how this is different than segmenting you into a specific career, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So when you look at your life this way, you're allowing yourself you're allowing yourself the freedom to be able to say, okay, this is working for me, but this is not working for me. You see, a lot of times we are so purpose driven that when we find out something isn't working for us, we do not allow ourselves permission to change. We don't allow ourselves permission to adapt, and we suffer the consequences of that by staying in jobs or employment, self-employment opportunities that are going to diminish our energy. And that is very dangerous for a lot of reasons. One, for your health, and it's also going to suck the energy out of your life, and it's going to prevent you from being able to fulfill your destiny, because you have an important story. You have an important reason for being here. You may not see that. You may just, dabble here, dabble there, and wonder what the heck you have to offer the world, or you have an idea, but you're not sure how it's going to unfold. But that's stuff that we're going to work on today. So just by using Omar's example here, since I know him so well, I know that this is the theme in his life. And to tell him that he is only going to be responsible for writing awesome copy or for working with technology, but not with the innovation or using his creativity, would stifle him. He would not be able to evolve. And I'm going to tell you now that I've had 3 medical related near death experiences. The reason why this is important for me to share this with you is that I have learned, sort of the hard way, that you may not have the time that you believe that you have. And it's really important that you take today, and instead of living it as though it's your last day, which is the way that people say it, you should live this day as though it's your first day, with curiosity and with ambition and with the permission to explore and to test this and to taste that. Your life is a huge buffet, and there are no rules to say that you can't try something new or to adapt what you're already doing so that it accommodates the lifestyle that you deserve. You have a responsibility to the universe to be prosperous, because the universe kind of gets rid of everything that's no longer useful, right? So it's important for you to take this opportunity to make 2018 your year. Um, okay, so do we have another example? Did Patricia or Mike provide any examples for themes? Because I have my
Okay.
big screen on here. So.
I can actually bring someone on live if you want. I mean,
Sure, that
that's
would be
okay.
great.
So anyone want to volunteer to go ahead and speak up? I mean, to unmute yourself? You can unmute yourself right away. You don't even have to say yes in the chat box.
I'm willing. This
Go
is
ahead.
Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
I I've noticed in the businesses that I have ran over the last 10 or 12 years that I tend to be more of a facilitator.
Okay.
I ran a business that I called Equine Teleseminar, which I would bring, equestrians on that were doing interesting things,
Okay.
and yeah, so a facilitator seems to be kind of what I am. And it's kind of what I'm doing now, even though I'm doing different things.
I'm not even going to be able to sit there. You can see that, eh? You can tell.
We know what it means. We know what it means.
For everybody else that's watching, I do not spell well. Okay, especially on tiny screens. So tell me more about the equestrian part of it.
Well, I'm an equestrian. I've been madly in love with horses since I was 9 years old.
Okay.
It's not the primary focus of my business, at least for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
However, I've published some books on, business and horses, and so people think that I've niched myself into that.
Oh, that happens. Okay. So when you talk about business and horses, is it dressage? Is it English, jumper, hunter, Western?
It's helping those business owners.
Okay. All right. The reason why I ask is that I see there's a huge market for that. I know that because my dad was actually one of the top coaches in North America.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm very well aware. We had a stable and we trained a lot of the Western coaches here. So,
Wow.
so the facilitator, now you say that you've sort of made a name for yourself in the business in the horse industry because you happen to write a book.
Well, I mean, it started long before the book.
Right.
I found that I had achieved, at least within the people who knew me, a level of celebrity simply because I was doing these teleseminars every couple of weeks. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
seriously, for a very long time, it was every other week. And just getting up in front, however one gets up in front, and doing stuff in a public type fashion that makes you kind of an authority because you're willing to do that. And then when you pair yourself with other people who are authorities in, whatever topic, you can actually position yourself as an authority in that, in that niche or in that industry,
Mm-hmm.
with not necessarily being much of an expert. Terribly specific. I mean, I've ridden horses for 40 years now, and yeah, I can ride. I'm by no means an expert equestrian. I'm not an expert in a lot of facets of horses, but people think I am because I did that for so long.
Yeah.
And so that kind of also set the stage for part of the business that I'm doing now, which is I call it Authority Blueprint, and helping business owners, become more of an authority in whatever area they want to be that authority, helping them write and such. But again, it's a facilitator.
Right. It is. And did you discover this passion for facilitation through the equestrian industry, like through teaching or writing the books or just from networking?
It started with seminars.
Mm-hmm.
I do love teaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's I don't have words for it.
And see, that's when you know you're doing something that you really like. No, I'm serious. A lot of people think that because you can't talk about something that it's not the right thing for you. But do you remember when that moment when you fall in love and you
Yep.
just can't explain that feeling, and you're all tongue-tied and your insides are coming out of your outsides?
Yes, I
You
do.
understand? Okay. That's why I know that this is your purpose. This is the theme in your life. It's facilitation. And it's going to evolve as you evolve. Don't pigeonhole yourself into becoming the accidental expert in anything. Just allow yourself to grow, because this is going to be, the final step. This is not where you're going to end up in your career. You're going to evolve and surprise yourself. So when you talk about the blueprint, the authority blueprint, tell me a little bit more about that. What makes you different, or what makes you want to do this?
It goes back to my experience at Equine Teleseminar, where, I was just doing these because I really didn't know what else to do.
Mm-hmm.
In business, and I knew I had to do something, and it had to be horse related.
Okay. So
And
go ahead.
And it didn't even take very long for this effect to start to, take hold. It was just interesting to observe it the first couple of times.
And see, that's how and the reason why I am asking these questions is because a lot of times, because we are untaught to listen to our intuition will connect to our higher consciousness in other ways. So you
Uh-huh.
have been guided through your intuition, through that connection with source, to do these things, but in a way that you'll understand, right?
Mhm. Oh yeah.
So it came to you through the horse industry. It came to you in my instincts are telling me that you were a little tired of some of the wishy-washy and disorganization that goes with the industry sometimes. I don't know if I'm right.
Well, you know, well, it comes down to, well, initially I just wanted to do anything, right?
Mhm.
And somebody had tossed out this idea I was on this email group at the time. I mean, like we have Facebook groups. This was on email, and I think Yahoo still has a lot of those. He tossed out this idea, and I took the idea and I turned it into an ebook, and it had all these diagrams and examples and how to and all this stuff. And he was like, wow, nobody has ever done that. Nobody does this, takes an idea and actually does something with it. And then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Right.
Granted, it took a while. The first summer, things were really slow. I didn't know how to talk to people and say, hey, would you come on a call with me? There was a lot of real severe self-consciousness there. But after I got over that, I could get people on a call,
Mhm.
most of the time. Not always. I mean, there was always a few flakes, but that was just because I didn't pay attention to things which now I would pay attention to.
Right.
You
It all
learn,
evolves. You do, and it's the best way to learn. So where do you see yourself with this? Like if next year when you and I are going to talk, we'll set a time. Okay, a year from now
Sure.
we'll talk. And where do you plan to be next year in your business?
I'm doing some different things that kind of work with Authority Blueprint, and what I'm doing is I'm starting some business coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and it's it's not a system. It's not my own organization that I'm putting together. I actually bought into a business in a box type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
which they've got all the scripts and they've got the books and they've got all the videos and they've got all the how to go and get clients. And so I'm just learning the stuff now and biting my fingernails as the
Okay.
outsourced stuff is taking forever. Anxious to get going. And so in a year, what I expect to do is I expect to have a full stable of coaching clients.
Love it.
Whether they're in the horse industry or not, at this point, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I just want coaching clients.
Okay. So, and just one or two more questions. With this coaching business in a box, why did you choose that avenue? Is it because everything was ready made for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was stuff that I wanted to do for my book clients, and just the sheer volume of stuff that they have put together.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh my God, I don't have to go and
You do it
create
yourself.
a whole system all by my lonesome.
Great.
I'm tired of that. I'm really, really, really tired of trying to create the whole, how do I market stuff, and the back end pieces. And I don't have, I feel I don't have the luxury of the time anymore.
And you know what? Going back to the whole horse and stable analogy, there's always a head horse, right? Like we follow the footsteps of giants, and sometimes we look at gurus as the giants. We look at Anthony Robbins and all the other people that are top level marketing, or these experts in authorship. But when giants, like when you follow the footsteps of the person or the entity or the service that's already made a success that you can follow, right? All success has been built on an incremental success of another person.
Yeah.
And you're doing the right thing but I also believe that you need to be careful that you don't shut off some of your own ideas. Okay,
Oh.
you need to trust yourself a little bit more. One,
Don't you worry about
yeah,
that.
exactly. Um, and if there's any room for adapting some of this program, I don't know if there is. I do think, yeah, good, because I think that you need to put a little bit more of your personality and your wisdom and use storytelling is really, really big when you're facilitating. And I can tell right now that that is one of your strong areas. And I think that you should take some of the lessons of the stable into what you're doing, regardless if they're horsemen or not. It doesn't matter, right?
Right.
Parents do it, like dog owners do it. Like just use that as an analogy. So I can see the theme there. And I think that besides facilitation, you also like exploring. You like to be able to put things together, but you also need that structure, which can be a sort of a love-hate relationship with stuff that you do, because
Yes.
you need room to adapt, but you also need to have the pathway so that you know that you're not wasting your time.
Yeah, right. And the people that have this, that are putting this, that have this thing put together, I respect them, and I know where their marketing genealogy, so to speak, comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So I trust that, and I like what I've seen so far. And I just don't want to reinvent the whole wheel again. It's already there. I don't need to reinvent it.
And why bother, really? I like, and that's why, when Omar and I talk about the stuff that we're doing, we share knowledge and experiences, because there's no sense in, if he finds something that's working for him, then he shares it with me, and vice versa, because really that's what success is, right?
Yes.
So and I think that's one of the reasons your intuition has drawn you to this. Now, I'm going to get back to you in a minute. Is it Michael or Mike? Is he available, Omar, or does he want to?
Sure.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
So, do you notice any themes going on now that we've been talking, and I've been talking to Patricia, in your career, in your life?
I don't know. I'm all over the place. I'm pretty creative, and I have a hard time focusing on just one thing. I got like a million things going, and I can't. I feel this resistance to just pick one thing and just stick with it.
That's perfect. I totally. I'm the same way. This is gonna be a perfect. Perfect.
I know. I almost wrote Omar.
And I'm much the same way myself.
There,
like for me, there are some common threads, though. Like all the things that I like to do. Like I love helping people. I have a connection with people, and I have a sales background, so I do like sales training, but I don't look at it like I just like to help people, and just sales happens to be the vehicle. I used to sell all different types of things, and I used to work for Apple for like 6 years, which is a cool gig. Like I just went to stores and stuff.
Okay.
But I like to help people. I like to be creative. I'm a musician. I play music.
Okay.
So there's just a lot of stuff.
Okay. So do you have a business at the moment?
Kind of starting it up.
Okay. Can you give me just like the Twitter version of what your business is?
So basically, I work with coaches and consultants who basically use the phone, like strategy calls, some people call it breakthrough calls, clarity calls, to enroll people into their program or their service.
Okay. All right. So you coach them on how to articulate themselves and to approach these clients? Is that what you do over the
It's
phone?
it's more people that are already getting like either they have a webinar and have a way to generate leads,
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting them on the phone, and they just want to enroll more people into their program. But maybe they're not very good on the phone, or that they have a lot of resistance towards sales, which most of them usually do. And then I help them with specifically the calls. So I
Okay.
listen to their calls, give them pointers, role play, practice.
Okay.
Yeah, things like that.
So it's interesting that you say this because I have a mentor here in lovely, snowy, icy, no power Nova Scotia, who actually does this for a living. And she is so busy. It's unreal. Like she, I forget. We have various nicknames for her. They're all loving. But she basically teaches people to do what you're saying. But she also teaches new entrepreneurs how to have the confidence on the phone for any reason, right? So that they're taken seriously, and especially during those sales calls or even those legal calls, or when they have something that they need to articulate that if you're a little timid or a little uncertain, it's going to show and it's not going to work out in your favor.
Of
So that,
course, yeah.
yeah, so that's very interesting. And you know, I don't know. I just felt it was a need to share her success because she's had all kinds of different businesses and careers, and she was very highly paid. But this is what she does, and no people can't book her. Like she's that busy. Um,
Wow, that's great.
yeah,
What's her name?
I'm actually going to have to. I will send
Oh,
the
I just was wondering.
information.
Just was gonna reach out to her. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'll send you her information because her website and everything I think has changed. But oh golly,
That's all good. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
Can I,
Let me check because I'm actually
No, don't worry about that now. It's all good.
okay.
Omar can let me know or something.
yeah, I just wanted to jump in real quick. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry to steal your thunder, Mike. But this is a really interesting thing I'm hearing is what you're saying, Lise. What I'm hearing is that you like the thread may be helping people be more confident on the phone, entrepreneurs be confident on the phone, and that can be for anything, not just
Right.
sales.
Exactly.
And this is also goes for like anyone else watching this webinar. If you are in a very niche, very narrow topic or industry or you know program or whatever you're teaching, it's very specific. You can also apply whatever the core gift that you're offering apply it to in other ways, you know, to other people and in some other way. Is that what you're saying, right, Lise?
Definitely, because I think that one of the things that the reason why I'm working the whole purpose thing a little differently here, guys, is because if you concentrate on the theme as opposed to the career or the thing that you do, it opens the doors for you because a lot of times your intuition is going to speak to you in a way that you are going to be able to relate. So with both Patricia and Mike, it's speaking through their passions. And I believe, Mike, it's connecting. Your whole thing is connecting, whether it's connecting ideas together and building on those ideas and moving on to the next ideas. That's probably one of the reasons why you're drawn to music and sales, because it's consistent, but it's also got a very specific start and finish point. Do you see? So it wouldn't surprise me that you would succeed very well in your business plan. I do think what Omar has said and what I've been trying to express is that do not put yourself in a box. This is only the beginning. Um, think outside of the box. Think, what else can I do here? I may be able to help entrepreneurs with selling themselves during contract negotiations over the phone, because let's face it, it's very rare now that we get in our cars to do this stuff. It's all over the phone, it's over Skype, it's over Zoom, and it's a different ball game because you can't use your body language like you used to. You have to be able to articulate your voice. And I think that you're onto something here. Do you sing or do you play like instrument?
I play an instrument.
Okay. All right. So that tells me that there's also a strong sense of rhythm that you need in your life. That's one of the reasons why you're drawn to the creativity and the connection and even the coaching. I think that exploration is very important to you as well, which if I were to do a survey, I would probably say that 90% of anybody who knows Omar and participates in anything that he does are creative explorers and connectors and innovators. Yeah. So, all right. So was there a time, you said that you were into sales before. Was there a time where you were absolutely miserable and you couldn't understand why, because you were being paid pretty good and you had the job that other people would be really lucky for?
Oh yeah. Like it's funny because I go through cycles because I first moved to California from Rhode Island, and then I got a job in sales and got promoted, was making really good money, and I got burned out after a couple of years and I quit, and I took a whole year off and I just played in bands all over California, LA area for a whole year. And then I got back into sales because I was just like, one of my, I don't know what you would call it, was probably the financial was doing great and other areas were terrible. So, and that seems to be a theme because I did that years later, maybe like 5 years later, I took like another year off and did that. So,
okay. And this is good to notice, because what happens there is that your intuition is speaking through your passion, but you're confusing your purpose with the thing that you do and with your career as opposed to the theme. So my suggestion is to still, like, even though you're working on this, leave it open. Allow yourself to experiment, to explore opportunities. If somebody says, hey, I know this is what you do, but I would be willing to pay you to show me how to, and, see if that fits with you, because you're definitely onto something here and it's going to be very successful. But I think that one of the reasons why you sometimes go back and forth with what you just explained is there's still something that isn't, like, you've confused your life's journey with you as the salesperson or the musician.
Sure.
Right? You are the creator, the explorer, and the connector. That's who you are. And everything that you do should fit into one of those categories.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Omar, are you next? Am I going to pick on you now? Embarrass you?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. So your themes, I know that I know them, but you can share them with the world now.
Well, actually, we kind of went over it. The innovation, creative,
right?
Communication, collaboration. I just thought of right now.
Okay, yeah. I do like that.
Technology.
Right, you're up here. See. All right, communication. Yeah. And
collaboration was the other one.
Yeah, of course it is. I'm going to say that. Is it one L or two L's?
It's COLL.
Yeah, I thought so. You can tell we're a professional writer, guys, right? So here's the thing. This is really good for you to know. Because of one of my near deaths, I had a head injury. And when I woke up, I had very little memory. They said I would remember anything that was really important to me. So I remembered everything to do with my son. But a lot of the stuff that I used to be able to do, I could not do. And a lot of stuff I didn't have any clue before, I picked up very quickly. And one of the problems that I had was my words were being scrambled, like literally scrambled. And I have been competing in public speaking since I was 7 years old. I don't know if you know what 4-H is, but I was in 4-H all through my childhood, and we had public speaking competitions. And I loved it. And it was something I was really good at, even throughout my career. But then with this little head injury, I would actually replace words with rhyming words and not even realize it. So I'd be on stage and I would mess everything up. Now I've gotten a lot better because I've trained myself to recognize what's going on and I can heal my brain. But I have had to be vulnerable in situations like this when I can honestly say, oh dear, I can't remember how to spell that. Even though I make a career out of writing and speaking, it's because at that very moment, I honestly cannot remember what that word is. There's been times when I've even had to go back to the dictionary because if it's not something that I use every single day or often, then my brain doesn't have a reason to draw it out because that's the whole part of the recovery process, right? So the lesson here is if I can let this get to me, I can be really embarrassed. I can say, there's no way I'm going to do this for you, Omar. No way. Or I can just use this as another teaching tool. Your strengths and your weaknesses go together. All right. And this is really important when you're looking at, doing your purpose driven career or your purpose driven lifestyle. You really have to accept your weaknesses as a strength. And that is I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in the goals. Okay, Omar, I'm sorry for the little interlude there.
No, that was great.
Okay. So I really see the innovation is probably one of the strongest themes in your life. And bringing people together, like the collaboration. I think that your technology is the tool. It's the fun part, right? But you love to bring people together and that energy gets you.
Definitely.
And I see it when you're miserable. I see it when that stuff is missing in your life, when you're stuck, when you don't feel like there's something for you to bring together, to create, to mold, right?
Interesting.
So now I know about your businesses. So where do you see yourself if we were to talk a year from now? Where would you be in your career?
I would be on top of the world. I'd be, like my main goal is, 2018 is going to be 2 webinars per month, as I was mentioning before, off when you weren't here, and 2 webinars a month, one mastermind per week. Basically connecting everyone to my resources like that I've never done before and I've always wanted to do. So it's like that. It's like a dream come true. That's all I really see, and we're also gonna have a big event, probably 2 or more in-person celebrations, maybe every quarter or maybe at the end of the year. I have no idea yet, but it's gonna be a big, get together kind of like in-person meeting or event.
Right.
And that's the first one I'm ever gonna do as well. So it's like a big year for new things happening.
Okay. So one of the things that, and I don't know if the others will agree to this, but one of the things that I've noticed about you and what you present is you give people the opportunity to share these resources and to, it's like, do you have these in the States? What are they called? They're called the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You're kind of like the virtual version, but nicer. Right?
Yeah.
Where you can draw on people's it's like it's not motivation. It's not that. It's bigger than that. It's like a place for people to be themselves, to get that energy that they need, as well as authentic information. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that the technology plays a huge part in that because um, you're like me. If it doesn't exist, you're going to create it. And if it's broken, you're going to fix it. So, but I do think that uh, the live events would be a huge thing for you. I think that you would really enjoy that because that's going to challenge you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, the constant theme again is innovation. And that falls into the collaboration, the communications, technology, and the creativity. To you would if you do something that does not allow you to be innovative, you are going to feel closed in, right?
Yeah.
So when you're looking at new projects, when you're looking at your goals, make sure that there's that quality of being allowed to be creative and to articulate what you want, or that it fits into your energy specifically. Okay. um, because I know what it's like. I've seen you take on things just like I do, and I'm sure the others do, where yeah, we do it for the best intentions, but we feel so tired after the fact. It's like somebody just ran over us.
Mm-hmm.
And that can damage you. It can damage your business because you won't have the energy, or you may feel like you're struggling because you just don't have that. You just lost a bit of it, and it can also hurt your health. So when tell me more about the innovation part. I want to draw out a little. I have a reason for this. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about the innovation.
Okay. By the way, that was like huge what you just said right now. I just wrote that down. That was just mind blowing. I want to just reiterate for everyone else. What I think what you really just shared is that for you, when you're creating your goals and when you're working on your projects, always include that core purpose, that thing, that theme that you love the most in that, or else you might limit yourself, or it might not feel fun, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
here, before I
Okay.
continue with Omar, I want to build on top of that, guys. If you do anything in your life that does not have a reason that is meaningful for you, whatever that reason is, if it doesn't work with your theme. Now, yes, people can argue the point and say, Lisa, there's lots of stuff out there that I have to do that I don't like. Do you really? Really? I mean, isn't there a way to delegate it, or say no, or thank you, but no thank you? Uh, Majority of the time, we can say that. We don't allow ourselves to say that, and it depletes us. So, if you want a successful 2018, you're going to have to say thank you, but no thank you. These are my goals. I'm going to stick with them. I'm going to adapt. I'm going to explore new opportunities and give myself permission to expand, evolve, or say no and move on and try again. There's nothing wrong with that. So, every single successful business owner that I have studied, and there's been plenty, they have failed, quote unquote, failed more times than they have succeeded. And they gave themselves permission to move on. So a lot of times we hurt ourselves, we hurt our businesses, we destroy families and friendships because we do not allow ourselves permission to let go of the things that bring us down, or the fact that we've changed our mind. There's nothing, there's nothing wrong with us changing our mind and adapting as we grow. So, okay. So where were we, Omar?
Well, you wanted me to, yeah, thank you for sharing. And you wanted me to go over innovation. I don't really understand exactly.
Okay.
I want to know.
All right. So when it comes to you and your business, you mentioned innovation as one of your themes. So how does that, can you be more specific?
Okay, in business, how does it apply?
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Why is
with
it part of your theme?
well, it's just like I love it so much.
Hmm.
But let's just say for business, and all right, so for Infopreneur agency, we have a lot of software. That's one thing we do. So we create software. So I create software, and I also work with developers, have them modify their own software they've already developed, and we sell that. And we also I innovate. I mean, it's basically creating, like you said, it's creating all these different opportunities for people, our members, to share what they do, promote themselves, giving them the open space to ask, give, or promote whatever they want.
Right.
Uh, Innovating new ways to support them, new ways to challenge them, to get them to be more successful, to give them more authority, more credibility, all that good stuff.
Okay. And
Yeah.
and that's what I needed. So would I be sort of almost on it if I said that you augment human resources, like you bring
Hmm.
everybody together, right? The energy, the talent per se,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, and that's really important because that is lacking out there. The authenticity of online business needs a bit of a shake-up.
Hmm.
Okay, um, and what I mean by that is, uh, I'm hoping that there's other people my age or a little older. So when I was little, I would go to a shop with my grandmother, and everybody would know who she is. Everybody would say hello to her. Um, Everybody in the store were friendly. They waited on everybody. Like it was very small town. It was very energizing. It was just, it became like a social thing to do to go out to the stores. Um, when my grandfather would need to get some help or go get lumber, then somebody would do that for him. But when their roof blew off, my grandfather and a bunch of neighbors, a bunch of their customers went and helped them build the roof. So that sense of community was the old style of sales and networking. And because of online business, your customers don't always see who it is, right? Let's face it, we can be whoever we want to be online. So it's really important when you are setting up your businesses, when you are working with your clients and you're doing your sales, that you allow them to see this authenticity. And that's one of the things that I see that you do, Omar, is that you bring out that authenticity. And I also see it in Patricia and Mike, because with the horse background, with that connection with animals, you have a built-in way to articulate your lessons, your coaching, so that it's not just about the person that you are helping at that specific time, right? You can use lessons. And the same thing with music, being involved with music and sales and your experiences with working with Apple. All of those things become your story that you can share and incorporate them and into your sales, into your daily coaching, as well as building your network. And that's where innovation is really important. Innovation is not always about creating a product or a service. Innovation is also very important when you create relationships. Okay,
Definitely. Hmm.
so I'm going to move on, if that's okay, to some ideas about goals. So now that I know more about your themes, I think you can understand why this part is really important. Do not feel bad if 6 months down the road or 6 minutes after you hang up from this call, you thought, oh, wait, I thought I was supposed to be doing this. But now, after listening to Lisa, I should be doing something else. Well, what if this person, what would that person say? Or what, you know, if I change my mind now, but I've already invested all of this energy in this, would I be considered a failure? Well, no, it doesn't matter what other people think, because what you have done so far in your life has prepared you for what you absolutely love to do. And a lot of times, if you don't like it, what you're doing, and I say you don't like it very often because there's parts of my job I don't like. So it's because it really isn't the right recipe. And I'm going to share a little bit more about understanding what that recipe is in a moment. Okay, so this goes into the whole goals thing. Now, I dread the New Year's resolution posts on Facebook. I kind of leave Facebook for about 2 weeks. I don't know if anybody's noticed over the holiday, because these New Year's resolutions make me cringe. Because once a year, everybody makes these plans because they feel that they're supposed to. And often these plans are based on what other people want you to do or what you think you should do. And with 2018 coming, I think it's important for you to really look at where it is that you want to be. Where do you want to be financially? And be selfish about it, because you have a responsibility, like I said before, to be prosperous. The universe has put you here, has put humans here for a reason, and it was not to suffer. Suffer is a man-made condition. You don't see deer trying to be crows. You don't see mice trying to be elephants. You don't see deer packing up their little suitcases and going to a retreat to learn to be a better deer. Okay? You have to start looking at yourself as a whole being and accept that, hey, I may have some limitations, but those limitations are part of my story. And when you do that, you don't allow yourself to be put into this little cubby where you only create these small little goals that don't happen because they're not big enough. They don't excite you, or it will make you make such huge goals that they don't resonate with your core, and they're impossible. If I asked people how much money they want to make in 2018, most people will either say something like $250,000 or $1 million. And I have tested this on 5,000 people, and it shocked me how many people said those exact numbers. And why? Because it's a habit. People believe that those are two segments, of financial success that is meaningful. Now, more people understand what it's like to be, to have $250,000. But a lot of people may not understand what having $1 million is. And the reason why they create these huge goals is because it gives them permission to not succeed, because it's difficult. They believe it's difficult. People have conditioned them to believe it's difficult to make $1 million. Sometimes they have been conditioned to believe that getting off of social assistance or getting off of employment insurance or getting off of a dead-end job is impossible. So they keep going on this little wheel of what ifs and maybes. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, I want you to look at what you're earning now, and I want you to times that by 4. And when you do that, tell me you don't have to tell me what the amount is, but tell me what happens when you think about that number. What does your body tell you? What does your mind tell you? Omar, do you want to start?
Sure, yeah. It feels exciting and my heart beats, starts racing.
Okay.
Excited.
then your intuition is telling you that you can do this. Okay.
Oh,
that
yeah.
that this resonates with you. All right.
Okay.
Patricia, do you want to try?
Yeah, and that's a much too small of a number.
That's good. See?
Much too small.
Okay. All right. So how much do you have to multiply it by for it to get that sense of excitement and feeling?
Well, I'm not sure because I don't know exactly what I made this year, but it
Okay.
wasn't much.
Okay. So
it wasn't really enough to even be a little bit more than embarrassed about. Let me think.
So let me help you with this.
I made about $1,400 this year, which
Okay.
actually is a big improvement over last year, but it's, let's see. Well, I actually have a house that I need to buy, and I need to do it this year,
Okay.
meaning 2018. And there's a bunch of traveling that has to happen, and that is happening, rather.
Okay.
You know, I actually haven't totaled up what I need, but it's, let's multiply this 1,400 by about 100.
Okay.
So no, it needs to be a lot larger than that, actually. I need to double it again. But the thing that I'm doing should actually be able to achieve that rather easily.
Okay.
So,
all right. So one of the things that I would like you to try to do, okay, is try to be aware of the shoulds and needs, okay, in your dialogue. All right, because you will do it, because you already recognize that what you're doing now or what you have earned is not enough. Okay, so what is enough for you? And it's not, and see, I know what you're doing because I've done this so many times.
I know.
So what you're doing is adding up your list of things that you need to take care of yourself so that you can justify the change in income. Okay. So I think that, I don't know what houses go for where you live, but I think that you should go online later, pick out some ideas for houses, and then I want you to at least double the amount of that house.
I've been there and I've done that piece already. I have a specific house in mind.
Okay. Okay.
And that would make it about 500,000. The house isn't exactly on the market at this point, but I think it'll come back. Yeah, that's about 500.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, and you know, the universe and your intuition like specifics. So we're going to change your about to, let me see.
I need at least 500,000.
Okay. All right. So aim for 825,000. Now, think about that number and tell me what your body tells you right now.
It's an interesting number because I actually we all go for those big round numbers, like you said, 250,000, ooh, or 500,000, ooh. It's a nice round number, but we need something that's a little bit off.
We do.
Yeah.
Right? Because when we do what's the norm, okay, when we set these goals based on the opinions and the numbers that we hear, you know, seem to be acceptable, or the wish list numbers, or the if I won the lotto numbers, we're kind of giving ourselves permission not to get too into it, right? We can't claim that. That's not ours. We're borrowing that information. Right. So you need a number that kind of sets you apart. You picked it, and then you can, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to share an idea with you in a moment, but I'm going to ask Mike in a second too if he wants to share. So you really have to look at how you're speaking to yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that you know that.
Yeah, but we still don't see it, even though we know it.
Exactly. As a therapist and hypnotherapist, I can be the biggest hypocrite. So I can help millionaires, but yeah, let's talk about me. Okay. So, and it's the same thing, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I use this analogy or metaphor constantly, and it's so worn out, it's cliche, but the carpenter's house is never finished. So it's time for you to reach beyond your current situation and say, this is today. This is the opportunity that I have here so that I can evolve. I am ready to evolve. This is my goal financially. And in a moment, you're going to actually break that down, okay? So that you can see how easy it would be for you to be able to accomplish that goal. All right?
Mhm.
Okay. So is it Mike or Michael? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Mike, but he had to go, so
Okay.
he's not here anymore.
Okay. So do you have an exact money goal, Omar?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't rounded off, but I mean it wasn't like, you know, specific like an odd number, but it was
Okay.
I just rounded it off at 400,000.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So why that?
Well, I mean, just kind of rounded it off, like, you know, making 100,000 this year times 4,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Okay. Okay.
roughly.
So what I'd like you guys to do is every time you price something, every time you approach a subject in your business or in your personal life, you have to listen to what your body's telling you. And if if you hear in your head that you're going to make $916,000 this year, and that excites you, that's your number. Okay? And the reason why I asked you to quadruple your original number was because it starts that inner dialogue. It starts to make you feel a little uncomfortable, or it makes you feel really excited, which might end up making you a little uncomfortable later. So now, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is because a lot of people, when they find out what I do, one of their first questions is, can you help me win the lotto? No. And the reason why is because I am not doing anything for that person, because statistically, lotto winners are in worse financial shape after they win, after a few years, I think it's 2 years after they win, because their mind does not resonate with the amount of money that they bought. So they feel guilty and they end up spending it or giving it away when people start knocking on the doors that they haven't seen forever. And charities all of a sudden find out, oh, you're the new lotto winner. Let's get you. All that stuff happens. And the same thing happens in business. If you're not prepared now, okay, before 2018 gets you, if you're not prepared mentally to be able to accept that success, to accept that type of money, to accept the amount of clientele that you want, to accept the fact that you have the skills, the resources, and the ability to network, to create these conferences a couple of times a year, then you are going to sabotage it right away. That, if I had any goal advice whatsoever, the first thing I would tell everybody is to throw away the goal sheet and do up a dream list, and then check off this list and say, okay, I feel my gut is telling me that I can do this, and my gut is telling me I can do this one. And then take a closer look at that. So my dream list would be to buy or build or buy a house that's U-shaped with a closed-in, what do you call them? Courtyard, right?
Mhm.
Where I can have my garden and my saltwater pool and everything else. Now, I lost sight of that goal about 3 months ago. Life kind of got busy, and I was starting to look at other ideas, ready-made houses and this house and that house. And though they were nice and they excited me, nothing was as exciting as the idea of putting this very unique house together. So when you're looking at your goals, the word goal is one of the reasons why people fail. Right? Call it something else. I don't care if it's your dream list, your master list, or your visions, or it doesn't matter, right? I call it my dream list, and then after I check it off and I move it over to my other list, I call that list my manifestors list. You know, it's the list. It's the one that will happen this year. Okay, and it doesn't get from the dream list to the one that I'm actually going to put into action until my body and soul resonates with it. So remember a time when you walked into the room and you felt like you shouldn't be there for whatever reason, like maybe the energy just wasn't feeling, you might not be able to pinpoint an exact reason. You just felt like, oh, I got to get the heck out of here. So think about that. Now, think about a food that you absolutely don't like. Okay, Omer knows mine. So think about this food that you really, really don't like and imagine eating it right now. And Omer, do you have a food in mind?
Well, actually, I mean, it's believe it or not, it's actually the same thing that you.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
it's liver. It's all so very professional of me. Yeah, so ours is liver. Now, Patricia, what is yours?
Rutabaga.
Ooh, okay, I'm with you.
I hated the taste and I hated the texture.
Okay.
Hated it.
And that's really strong feeling right there, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay, so keep that in your mind. Now, I want you to think about something that's absolutely delicious that you wouldn't mind driving or walking to get, right? So, Omer, what would be yours?
I would say pho, Vietnamese noodle soup, pho.
Okay.
Yeah, my thing.
Okay. So, Patricia?
I like fried chicken.
Okay. See? But it doesn't even matter. Like I had somebody say, Pringles, right? I'm like, okay. So it doesn't matter what it is. It's okay. Now think about how you feel when you eat that, like how satisfied you feel and how good you would feel about having that and the smell and this and that. Okay. Now you have two drastic difference in feelings right there. Anything in between, okay, goes. Okay, so you kind of think of it like an arch. Now, when you have a dream that's on the liver side, or and it doesn't go towards the the Pringle side, then you don't do it. It's not going to resonate with you. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter if you have the money in the bank to make it happen. If it doesn't resonate with your Pringles, then don't do it. That's the number one rule in goal setting. Okay? It's probably the most unorthodox advice.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. Can I just ask a clarifying question? So, are you saying if it doesn't give you that same feeling?
Yeah, if it doesn't give you, if you know that it's not going to go from the liver stage to the Pringle stage, right? It has to feel, in order for you to accomplish something, you have to be invested. And this is because I'm sure you have tried to do something where you forced yourself to do it and you hated every moment, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember working for the government and doing things I absolutely hated because I needed the paycheck. So I don't do that anymore. So if it doesn't resonate with your Pringle side, then you should really think about adapting that. See, you may be on the right idea, like it may need a little bit more fleshing out. Do you see? So, if for example, my goal was to learn to fly a plane so that I can go travel all over the world and have a plane. Well, about my eyesight issues. I don't think I should be flying a plane. So it's kind of like a liver thing. But if I had my own pilot, if I had my own plane, then it could be a Pringle, right? So I'm having fun with this, as you can see, because I want it to be something that you guys are going to be able to laugh at, to remember, to take that sort of fear out of setting the goals, because it really does work. It really does. It creates a visual. And by associating your goals with something that you are in your dreams, with something that with a feeling, with an emotion, with a sensation that you've already experienced, then you have a way to measure. You have a way that makes sense to you, because goals are merely ideas, right? It's very hard for me to say, that it's without having this vision, with this idea of when you're feeling it. Yeah, it really resonates with me. I know this can happen. Maybe it's only in the middle and it can go either way, but it's that close right now. I don't feel absolutely horrible about doing this. It's not right down there with the whole I hate it because it's liver idea, right? So yes, I do believe that it should be at least halfway before you try it, because a lot of times we end up making ourselves do things that don't resonate with our core. And why should we do that? Especially if you are involved in your own business. If it's something that you absolutely have to do for the sake of your business, delegate it to somebody else. Let them be your liver people. Okay? Delegate the stuff that you don't want to do. Most successful people do that. So, is it too weird? Are you guys getting it?
No,
Or
I'm getting it, definitely.
okay.
I do want to just quickly comment on it. Is in my experience, like with software, for example, like I'm the one who hosts it on my server, and I have to like I have my team install it and set it up. But sometimes there are things that are too private that I need to do it myself. Like I won't trust anyone, even you, Lise. I mean, no offense. But, like I really need to keep.
We'll talk about that later. No, just kidding.
Some things that need to be confidential,
Right.
And so, and I don't like doing it, but I end up, I have to do it. And so I do it, but I put like music on, and I'm like, I make it like fun in some way. Like I challenge myself to do things. Like I have like a little contest with myself. Like if I can finish a task before the song ends, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I do little things to make it fun. Even though I don't really necessarily enjoy it. It's usually just like copy and paste kind of stuff,
Right. And that's where I wouldn't say that that's like a complete liver thing, because it is an incremental task that needs to be done for that
The bigger.
big pot of Pringles at the end of the rainbow, right? Like do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
There are times when we have to do those things, and that's a task. That's not necessarily the goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are going to be things. I don't particularly like, cleaning out my stove, but I really hate a smelly stove, a dirty stove. So I clean it almost every day to make sure that I don't have a big job at the end of the week when it really looks horrible, and it stinks when I'm trying to bake something nice. So it's a chore, it's a task, but because I enjoy baking, because I enjoy the smell in the home and knowing that people are enjoying what I cook for them, then it becomes doable, right?
Mhm.
Now, what I would challenge you is to find another way to make it even more enjoyable. There's always a way. Um, you know, but we can talk about that
Yeah,
later.
that's great distinction there. So it's more of a task that's
Right,
leading to the goal.
right,
It's like going into like walking out in a snowstorm to get to the restaurant to get your favorite food.
right. Now, here's another one, okay? When I wanted to have a family, okay? That was a goal. I wanted to have a family. But there's no woman in their right mind who would say, I really want to go into labor and have a baby. No, there's no one. I don't think there's anybody who would ever say that. So that's something that needs to be done to have what you want to have, right?
Yeah.
So, but because, and I don't think that is something that the tasks, the chores, um, if it's something that you can give other people to do, you should do it because it frees you up to be able to do what you're good at. And I understand the confidentiality part. I have the same issue with some of the stuff because I have patients and I can't share some of my stuff. You know, I can't let certain people on my computers, and that's where I have to have special security. So I understand all that. So sometimes we just have to do it. Okay. Now, when you excuse me. So when you have a goal in mind and you really feel excited about it, now something can happen in 3 months' time, and that goal may not be going the way that you intended it to go. You may be, you know, like a year behind in 3 months. It happens. Like you just sort of get like, wow, like I'm supposed to be here right now. And look, it's going to take me another year to get this to where I really wanted it to go. And you get really, really down on yourself. Or maybe you realize that you don't have the financial resources or the network to make it happen. And you become so disenchanted that you start that negative self-talk, or you're like, what was I thinking, or this is going to have to wait until I get the money, or maybe this was too big and I shouldn't have listened to Lisa. Like all of this stuff can go on in your mind. Well, this is one of the biggest problems with setting goals. People do not allow this safety clause at the end of it. For the greater good of myself and for all those involved, I will have that written down in all of my goals and all of my visions because I truly believe that when you create an idea of something that you want to do, when you innovate a plan, when you start to think about a product or a service or even a vacation, well, 3 months down the road, there could be a storm. There could be a power outage. There could be somebody in your family could be ill. Life does happen, and it will reflect on your ability to do what you intended to do. So you have to allow yourself to adapt. It does not mean that you have failed. It means that you have been given the opportunity to explore new opportunities to make this happen and even better. That's one of the things that I see that's missing in a lot of people's goal plans and in a lot of these self-help books. People talk about writing out goals and about doing these lengthy steps and sticking to them no matter what, and you're letting yourself down when you don't accomplish these goals. Well, from a hypnotherapy point of view, from a therapist's point of view, that's asking an awful lot of yourself because you know what? How many times have you been like, if you've you're supposed to get on a plane and go somewhere, and that plane is late. I mean, it happens more times than not. But the plane does eventually come in, and you do eventually get to your destination. How many times have you planned a trip or to go to a place and there's a detour and you're told to take this detour? You may be late. It may be a bumpy ride. You may not enjoy it, but you do get to your destination. Perhaps your car breaks down and all of a sudden you find yourself on a train, or you're hoofing it, or you have to ask a friend to help. Well, you're still going to get to your destination. Your end result has not changed. Okay, that vision of getting to where you want to go has not changed. How you're going to get there has changed. And that's really important. That is opportunity disguised as inopportunity or as discomfort. Successful people highly rely on their intuition, on their ability to innovate on the fly. So when stuff like that happens, when life happens, they don't lose sight of the end goal. They actually take this situation and adapt their plan to accommodate their new resources. So that's the reason why I said that this would not be your typical goal workshop, because I don't believe in the typical goal planning. I believe that you need to create your dream list, move that dream list to your manifestation list or to your vision list, or let's make it happen list, whatever you want to call it, when you feel like it resonates with your body and your spirit. Okay, so liver or Pringles. Then when you're doing this, when you're working on it and life happens, be prepared to adapt and adopt and allow yourself to accommodate so that you can still get to your destination. It does not mean that you are failing. In fact, you're a genius, because you are doing what a lot of other people would never do, and it will put you on top. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
You've had a moment there. Okay, good. And Patricia, are you still with us? Oh, I think.
She's.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So are you feeling good about this too?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Because I think that one of the things that happens is that we get caught up in taking courses and getting mentors and doing all these things to improve upon ourselves, to improve upon our skills, to be able to articulate and sell and to run a business. We are told very often what we have to do to fix ourselves and to be able to, do what we love. But it's time to bring it back into you. And being selfish does not necessarily mean being rude and obnoxious and taking from somebody else. When I say it's time to be selfish, I mean it's time to explore you, to explore yourself, to do the things that you need to do so that you are in the forefront, so that you can take care of those who rely on you, including your business. Okay, your business is your innovation. It's a child. It's an energy. It's not in the physical form, but it's energetic, and it should be treated like a child. And then it grows into adulthood. And sometimes it matures to the point where you leave it, somebody else takes over, or it sort of dies off. It's had its lifetime. So these are the things that I think that just by learning about your themes and learning about how important it is for you to help people and to bring people together, there's a strong helping theme. And with a strong helping theme, sometimes you can get caught up in trying to please other people, pleasing other people's schedules, pleasing other people's expectations, and not daring to be innovative and creative and asking for more for yourself. You will be rewarded more when you develop goals that truly resonate with you and your core, so that the universe knows that you're serious and will give you more opportunity and more rewards. That's why you shouldn't be afraid to say that I want $895 or $25,000.16. You should not be afraid to say that. You shouldn't be afraid to say that I want, a beach house and another house and this house and a plane. It's not that you're not, the only time that becomes an issue is when you aren't willing to exchange the energy to receive. Okay, so that's something that you need to look at when you do your goals. Why are you setting these goals? So this is why I disappear during New Year's resolution week, because people will list all this stuff. I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Why? Well, because so-and-so said I should, or it would be good to do it with my aunt. Why? What's that got to do with you? If somebody came to me and said that they want to quit smoking and they want me to hypnotize them, okay, that's easily done. But why? Why do they want to quit smoking? 9 times out of 10, it's because somebody in their family said they don't like the smell or they don't want them to smoke anymore. So when I hear that, I will not hypnotize them. I tell them to go home, try not to smoke for a while, and when they decide that they can not smoke for 2 weeks on their own without being tortured by their loved ones, then I will hypnotize them, because I know it's about them. Their goal resonates with them. They want to quit smoking because of their body, because of their health, not because it pleases another person. And that's the reason why it's important for you to know what your why is when you're setting these goals. So if you're setting a goal for your business because a mentor suggested that you should be at a certain point in your life, then chances are you may try that goal to please him or her, but you're not going to be able to do that goal for yourself. It's going to lose its life cycle, and you're going to feel really bad and beat yourself up, because not only have you disappointed yourself and proved all of your family and friends that you're an idiot and that you're everything that they said that you are or not, you are also going to feel like you've disappointed your mentor. Okay? You have to take the advice and guidance of everybody, including me, and adapt it into your own life and see how you're able to, assess. Just say, okay, Lisa's made some really good points here, but does this resonate with me? And if it does, fly with it. If it doesn't, you got some good stuff here, but you don't have to do everything. You don't have to do something because you think you should. So when you're doing a goal, are you doing it because you think you should do it? Are you doing it because somebody else has told you you should do it and that you should be at this particular place in your life or in your business? Or are you doing it because you believe it's going to give you the quality of life that you truly believe that you deserve, and you're able to accept the rewards? Now, here's the big thing, and this will sum it up quite nicely. Do not do a single thing on your goal list, not one of them, if you are not willing to accept the rewards. Because if you start something and then you feel guilty about receiving, even if you receive things that are beyond your expectations, Okay, you know how that happens. I know you both have heard these stories where, like, I know Patricia said it earlier, things just sort of snowballed. I was an accidental expert. I love that because that sums it up. You get this attention that you didn't expect. You start making sales that you didn't expect. Sometimes that can make a person really uncomfortable and they'll sabotage themselves. They'll start to feel really guilty about accepting the rewards that they really deserve. So that's something that I would really caution you about. If you can't decide on a money, figure, that's okay. You can use imagery. So if a house is something that you would like to be rewarded with, then imagine what that house is going to look like. See yourself living in that house. Make it as real as possible. Go to the open houses. We've heard a lot about this through the law of attraction. You really have to believe to receive it instead of, I'll believe it when I get it. You really have to resonate with the rewards. If success is something that you want, you have to have an image of what that success is. Because if it's just for the sake of doing it, believing that you're going to get paid for it, that's not success. That's earning a paycheck. You've become an employee for yourself. So you have to associate the financial gain, the financial rewards, with what you would like to do with those financial rewards. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And Patricia literally just had to go right now.
Okay.
We went on for almost 2 hours, I think an hour.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right.
Those of you watching the recording, hopefully you guys are getting a lot out of this. Patricia, was there anything else you wanted to share about goals before we talk about the academy or the special gift that we have arranged for everyone?
Right. Okay. So one of the other things about goals is that you really need to avoid setting concrete long-term goals. I know that I'm probably one of the few people in the world that would ever tell you this. What I would prefer is that you set your immediate goals and what you have a plan. Okay? Have a plan. So you have an immediate goal and for 2018, and you know that because you are achieving this goal this year, that other things can happen so that you can buy that house. And then when you buy that house, you can expand your business. When you expand your business, you're going to be able to bring on more services and hire more people, maybe a virtual assistant to do all the liver jobs. Okay. But to actually put a concrete time on some of these goals can play a bad mind game on your brain. Okay. What I want you to focus on is on the result as opposed to the time. When you concentrate on the result, time takes care of itself. Time is what we want it to be. It's a paradox. Okay, so if you have everything planned to the point that in 6 months' time you are supposed to be here, and in 5 years' time you're supposed to be here, then what happens is that life is going to happen. You may get married. You may have a child that keeps you up all night. You may have in-laws moving in with you, and you have like this itty-bitty little place. Things happen that are unavoidable. So you do not want to make things so specific that it's rigid so that you let yourself down. Because when you continuously let yourself down, you are training your subconscious mind to ignore that call for action, right? So this is what you need to concentrate on, is that your logical mind needs to plan. It needs those plans. So you are going to plan by creating a list. And we just talked about that. So you create your list of your short-term goals. And, short-term is 2018. That's pretty good there. And then after that, what can I do? What can I achieve because of these short-term goals? Make that list. and make it so that they evolve from each other. And you're going to see things it's amazing. Every person I've done this with, it works out perfectly because it takes the time pressure off of them, and they concentrate on these incremental wins. And they say, you know what? I really wanted to be here in 5 years' time. And when you told me not to concentrate on the time, I thought you were nuts. But after I concentrated on the wins, on the successes, and on the results, I ended up achieving it before my initial goal date because I didn't feel pressured. It was a game to me. I really enjoyed the process. So experiment with that. If it works for you, adapt it. If it doesn't work for you, there's little bits and pieces of everything that I've said that will suit your particular situation, your particular way of dealing with things and doing things. And that's okay, because that's why there's many teachers out there. That's why my way of teaching goals and intuition can be something totally different than what somebody else is going to teach you. Okay, so with regard to the Academy, right now there's a wait list. So the Academy is a site that I created because I had so many people that wanted me to teach them how to use their intuition, or they were asking me if I could help them win the lotto or to find money for them. And though I understand the situation that they're in, it was heartbreaking for me because I knew that doing a reading for them, it may help them short term. They may get those extra clients for a short term. They may get win the lotto for a short term. But that is not going to fix their problem. That is not going, because it's the beliefs that they have about themselves, about their situation, about their abilities to achieve. That's the real issue. And as an intuitive person, I am amazed at how highly successful people have been quoted to say that they trust their gut in business. But yet, a lot of people who are struggling or getting their businesses started, they undermine their own gut instinct. And that really bothers me because I know what it's like. I've done it, and I actually help law enforcement find missing persons. But yet I won't trust my own gut in my own business sometimes. So, I understand because we need to be validated. We need to understand why something works, or we need to know all of the information up front. We can do all of this research and never do a single thing, or we'll buy yet another book, or join yet another conference, or take another course, or we'll seek another mentor, or we'll go on the psychic hotline. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do those things, but when you do not trust yourself, when you don't trust your intuition, what happens is that you seek this information out of desperation. You seek the information to validate or to be able to justify why things didn't work out. Oh, I knew it wasn't going to work out, but I did everything that I could. I did the research, and I called Lisa, and then I went to Omar's big conference, and we talked about liver and Pringles, but it just didn't work out. Okay, instead of trusting your gut. Now, when you trust your gut and you seek this information, you're seeking it from an authority's point of view. You're seeking it from like a lawyer who investigates the different options, the different scenarios. Then you choose which option or scenario best suits your situation. And that's what the Academy is all about. It's not only about intuition. There's lots of people out there that teach intuition, but there's very few people, if any, that are teaching intuition the way that I do. Everything is geared towards entrepreneurship. Blah, can't even talk now. So it's all about you taking what you know, taking your passion, taking what you already have in action, taking those ideas and making them into visions of success, and uh, and igniting that excitement and that feeling of I can do this because I am learning to trust myself. And you learn really interesting exercises on how to do that. There's one exercise where I teach you how to program your finger to be able to give you a yes or no answer. This comes in handy when you're about ready to sign a contract. You can use a handshake to be able to identify whether or not this person is someone that you should do business with. You can learn to trust your gut when you're making a business decision or setting goals, like we talked about earlier. I know I made fun of it with the whole liver and Pringles thing, but you'll never forget that. So these are things that we do in the academy. And it's done so that you can either join as a membership where you have like a menu of things, kind of like Netflix, or you can buy individual courses. So what I would like to do for everybody who's listening to the recording and participated is that when you listen to this, and because I know you're going to want more information, tell Omar, write him, post it on the page. And what I would like to do is to have you write down one question about your business that's not resonating, like something that's going on that's not resonating with you. And I will take those questions and I will create a very specific course for Omar's members only, okay? Just the people who have listened to this call and the recording. And I will show you step by step how to discover the solution based on your instincts. How can you use your instincts to find the information that you need, to find the resources that you need, whether it's money or knowledge, to find the network that you need, to be able to write the product, the copy, the design. Trust your gut. That's what it's all about. So what do you think, Omar? Is that?
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is so awesome. I'm just super stoked about that. I can't believe you just offered that.
Surprise! I wanted to surprise you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's amazing, you guys. Definitely take her up. Definitely take Lisa up on that, 100%. I'll put a link below this video that you could just submit or send in your question. And also, post it in the Facebook group too. And also, there will be a special offer for you to join the Academy. Lisa
Definitely
explained it really well, but I just want to point out that there are some things that she left out that are huge. You don't just get courses and like a membership site. There's a forum in there too, but you also get her personal guidance. Like you will actually get on the phone just like this on Zoom, and she has these masterminds, like I think every week or something like that, or every 2 weeks. I have no idea what it is.
Every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she will, help you ongoingly with whatever you're working on. And there's just a whole bunch of great stuff in there. Honestly, I went through the first 4 courses myself, and I don't know if it was like she put a spell on me or something, but I started I started to really see some really interesting things happen in my life that I can't explain it, unexplainable stuff. So like dreams happening and messages that I'm getting from all over. It's just crazy.
And that's something that I should point out, because I am a hypnotist, okay? And everything that I do, I know as I teach, I do it so that it's very meditative, okay? So that it creates not only the excitement for success, but it also ignites that partnership between your conscious and subconscious mind. You see, one of the things that I didn't get into a lot of detail in this particular session with, which I would love to do in the question and answer session, is your conscious mind and your subconscious mind need to play together in order to make anything success. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's baking a cake, it doesn't matter. That's why we have the directions on the cake box and we have a picture. Okay, one resonates with your conscious logical mind that loves to listen and what to do, and the other one resonates with, wow, that looks really good, I think I'll make that tonight. All right, so that's what I try to do in the academy. Now, my presentations are a little different because I am also a huge fan of sacred geometry. And I use shapes, even in my hypnotherapy, to help relax people. And so in some of my sessions, you'll see on the presentations that there's triangles, there's squares, there's like, I'm an artist as well, so you'll see all kinds of graphic design stuff happening. And there's a reason for that, because I needed to have the actual stuff written out so that your conscious mind would look at it and pay attention. I also needed the color therapy. I needed the shapes. I needed everything to kind of work together so that your subconscious mind would also come out. And by doing that, I'm allowing both of them to connect with your higher consciousness, which is your direct link to the universe through your intuition. That's why Omar is getting these dreams. That's why things are happening that he can't explain, because he's allowing himself to relax and to be able to absorb this information from a higher conscious point of view. So, there is some mind science to this, and I actually teach it. That's the thing. Like, I'm working on this humongous module that I can't believe I started, but I told Omar about it, and now I have to do it for sure, because we're both excited about how it's all going to go. But I'm about 6 weeks into this, writing this, and it's about teaching people how to create their products and services based on their intuition. Because a lot of times when we take these courses, we're taught these cookie cutter plans. Your website needs to be robin blue and this particular type of orange. Well, I hate to tell you, my website has none of that on there. In fact, my website looks like an artist blew up on it. So because my instincts are telling me that this is what my clients need. This is what my visitors need. They come to me because they need that connection with higher consciousness. They need that, I feel like I'm home for a while, but I'm still learning something useful, right? So, and the same thing with book covers. Yes, they say that certain book covers will sell better than others, but guess what I found out? And I can show you the proof of this, because little old me actually did research on 500 books on Amazon, and I tracked them to find out how long these books stayed on the bestseller and who wrote them, who published them, what their sales prices were. And I'm willing to share some of that information in the course, because I wanted to prove that the ugliest covers can sell based on how the writer actually intuitively put everything together. Okay, now there's still a presentation. I'm not saying that you can just do things and not pay attention to the detail. What I'm saying is that you can take things that have been proven successful, but remember, I always say you take what you know and you adapt it so that it resonates with your core. Your core is your instincts, your being, that section of who you are where your spirit and your body connect. So that's it in a nutshell.
Awesome. All right. So you guys definitely take advantage of that. I'll put a link below to sign up or to get on the wait list. We might make a very special offer for you, which I know we will.
Definitely. Actually, what they should do is put down their questions and stay in contact. And I can visit the forum or on the group on Facebook for the next week while I do my extra little magic on my website, because right now I'm working on something really special. That's why there's a bit of a wait list. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about what I do, if you want some samples so that you don't have to feel like you need to sign up or to be on the wait list, I will post some things that nobody else will ever see unless they're a member on there, even before they get it, so that you can check it out and try it out. And then I will make sure that Omer gives you a special coupon.
Nice. Awesome.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Okay.
All right. Well,
So-
thank you again, Lisa. Lisa, this was unbelievably awesome, and super appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome. Sorry
yeah.
about being late.
That's fine. And yeah, well, you guys look out for that link and go ahead and submit your questions. Let us know if there's anything you want help with, or any ideas, any things you want to share with in regards to your intuition and your business decisions, and we'll take care of you. Okay. Cool. So, all right. Well, Lisa, anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, not
Okay.
at all. I'm really excited about this, and I truly mean it, guys. I value Omar's input on my business. We talk several times. We inspire each other, and when I say I'm going to do something like this, I mean it. So I can only do this if you participate. So if you don't post questions, and I can't. I'm not just going to post things and sort of hope that you watch it. So if you want to know more, if you want me to give you some specific help, you have to make sure that you do your part too. How's that?
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
All right.
So
All
we'll
right,
touch
guys.
base
Well,
later.
yeah. Thank you so much again. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Have a good one.